musicians, maybe they could write you one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. This is true.
Okay. I'm all set?
You're good. You're good
Okay.
to go. You're rolling.
And I just want to remind everybody that don't forget on Facebook to like and follow Kids Rock Review and the BarRoom Project. And on YouTube, like and subscribe to Kids Rock Review and the BarRoom Project. And guess what? It's free to do both of them. So do it. Anyway, tonight we are going to talk about spring songs. I like that we have the sun there doing the little rock and roll symbol. So, since it is April, we're going to start with a song that has the word April in the title. April Come She Will by Simon and Garfunkel. This was written by Paul Simon in the early to mid-60s when he was in England. It was actually recorded on a solo album he had called the Paul Simon Songbook. But then Simon and Garfunkel, when they got back together, re-recorded it for their second album, The Sounds of Silence. And it was also more famously in the movie The Graduate. And it's in the scene where the main character, Ben, is having an affair with Mrs. Robinson. The song itself is about relationships and how they change over time. But it is a spring song. It starts, April Come She Will, then May She Will Stay. So that's the first song for our spring songs. Next up is Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles.
That's a good one.
Which is, by the way,
Yeah.
one of the first songs I learned to play on the ukulele was Here Comes the Sun. Very easy. Because George Harrison is a ukulele player as well as a guitar player. It's from Abbey Road, the Beatles' last recorded studio album. Not their last released studio album, but their last recorded studio album. And George Harrison claims he wrote the song in Eric Clapton's garden after he was frustrated at a Beatles business meeting. And he just went to Eric Clapton's garden and grabbed one of Eric Clapton's acoustic guitars and sat down and wrote the song. Look at my notes here. You know, it is about spring. There's the lyrics in it. It's been a long, cold, lonely winter. It feels like it's been years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I say, it's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. And this has been one of the more popular Beatles tracks, but it was never released as a single. However, since the Beatles made their songs available for download and streaming, this was actually the most downloaded song in the Beatles catalog on iTunes, and the most streamed song of the Beatles on Spotify. So there we go. Well, I'm going to give George Harrison some love, right? Next up for spring songs is A Beautiful Day by U2. This comes from the band's 2000 album, All You Can't Leave Behind. It was the first single that they released off the album. And with that album, U2 was trying to get back to their roots and get more back to they say a traditional U2 sound, although I'm not quite sure what a traditional U2 sound is, but get away from that experimental electronic music they were doing in the 90s. And so The Edge, he picked up this guitar here, which is a more traditional U2 guitar to get that sound. The song itself, it's about finding beauty in a spring day, even when things aren't going right. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away, no matter what you're feeling, even if you're feeling down. And speaking of beautiful days, how about the Electric Light Orchestra and Mr. Blue Sky?
Yeah.
Mr. Blue Sky. Please tell me why you had to hide away for so long. This comes from the Electric Light Orchestra's 1977 double album, Out of the Blue. And side 3 back in the days was titled A Concerto for a Rainy Day. And it's about how the weather affects people's moods.
True.
It is true. The last song in that sequence is Mr. Blue Sky. And Jeff Lynne, who is the sunglass bearded guy here, he was writing the music. It was dark and rainy for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden the sun came out, and it inspired him to write Mr. Blue Sky. As I said, Mr. Blue Sky, please tell me why you had to hide away for so long. It's also one of the few ELO songs that actually features vocals by another member of the band. At the end of the song, there's this electronic vocal, Mr. Blue Sky, and that's actually sung by the keyboard player of the band, whose name is Richard Tandy. And speaking of Blue Sky, how about Blue
Yeah.
Sky by the Allman Brothers?
Oh, yeah.
This is actually my favorite Allman Brothers Band song. It comes from Eat a Peach, their half live, half studio album. And it is the debut song that Dickie Betts sang. And Dickie Betts actually wrote it about his girlfriend at the time, who would later become his second wife. And her name was Blue Sky. So when he's singing "You're My Blue Sky," he's actually singing about her. As I said, this is one of my favorite songs. One of my students said, who he knows I like rock instrumentals and stuff like that, he said, of course it's your favorite Allman Brothers song because it's basically a 5-minute guitar jam after they have the 2 verses. And then, but, you know, the song, and it's about a spring day. If you take the lyrics literally, "You're my blue sky, you're my sunny day. Lord, you know, you make me high when you turn your love my way." As I said, it was the first Allman Brothers Band song that Dickie Betts sang. It's also one of the last, unfortunately, songs that Duane Allman played on before he died. But it's a great song. I suggest you all get out Eat a Peach on vinyl or CD and listen to it. Turn it up loud so your neighbors hear it. Okay. And now we're going to go. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all the obstacles in my way. It's going to be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Great song.
Great song. It was Johnny Nash here. It was his only #1 song. However, I didn't know this until I was looking up this information, that he was actually a singer from the 50s through the 70s, and he had some other hits like "Hold Me Tight," "You Got Soul," "Stir It Up," and "A Very Special Love." But this is a song everybody knows by Johnny Nash.
One of the tightest things.
And he was inspired by listening to Bob Marley to write this song, and then later some reggae artists also covered the song. Now we're gonna, instead of talking about blue skies and clear days, we're gonna go to another rite of passage for springtime. John Fogerty, "Center Field."
That's a great song.
This is a title track to his comeback album in 1985. And he actually, when he used to play the song, he had a guitar shaped like a baseball bat. It has since been donated to the Baseball Hall of Fame. So if you just go down the road from Little Falls, about 45 minutes down the road, you can see John Fogerty's baseball-shaped guitar at the Baseball Hall of Fame. In fact, this is one of, I think, 2 songs that has actually been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And it was put in Baseball Hall of Fame in 2010, I believe. But John Fogerty was inspired to write this song. He was growing up, he grew up on the West Coast, and when he grew up in the 50s, there were no Major League Baseball teams on the West Coast of California, so he followed the Yankees because that's who they got broadcast out there. And to him, all the best players played center field. And I didn't write it down, but how many center fielders are actually mentioned in the song Center Field. But you like baseball, you like good rock and roll, listen to John Fogerty, Center Field. Okay, now we're going to go to Cat Stevens, "Morning is Broken." And Joe, Christine, and I have actually played this song in church.
Yes, we have.
This is a great song.
It was written in 1931 as a hymn. The woman that wrote it was Eleanor, I hope I'm saying her name right, Farjan. And in 1972, Cat Stevens decided to record it as a single. And it appears on his album, Teaser and the Fire Cat. "Morning is Broken." It's about spring day and God creating the new spring day. Interestingly, Rick Wakeman of the band Yes plays piano on the song. And the song was produced by a guy named Paul Samwell Smith, who was in the band The Yardbirds. So we got a whole bunch of classic rockers doing this song.
It's a great song.
I think we need to play this in church again, don't you, Christine?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, you should.
Right.
Okay, got two more left before I'm done. Next up is the Love and Spoonful with Daydream. It's just basically about a nice spring day and letting the world go by. What a day for a daydream.
What a day for a daydream.
Yep. The Love and Spoonful's main singer and songwriter, John Sebastian. That's this guy right here. He got the idea for the song when he was listening to the Supremes. He was listening to their song, Baby Love, and inspired him to write this song. And later on, and actually, was one of the songs that John Lennon put on his personal jukebox was Daydream. And later, Paul McCartney was inspired to write the song Good Day Sunshine after hearing this song. Which I could have put that in another spring song too, but I already had Here Comes the Sun, so
Yeah.
one Beatles song is enough. Oh, no, never.
Never.
Never. One Beatles song is never enough, but for this list anyway. Okay, and the last song I'm going to mention is These Are Days by the 10,000 Maniacs. This is the first single from their 1992 album, Our Time in Eden. It was written by Natalie Merchant and the 10,000 Maniacs guitarist Rob Buck. It's about loving and appreciating life and how every day is a miracle. And I'll make a confession, back when I was in college when this album came out, I had this biggest crush on Natalie Merchant. But anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. And actually, the 10,000 Maniacs are the first time my brother Adam and I, the first time we saw a concert together, we saw 10,000 Maniacs in Saratoga.
Ah.
And of course they played this song. It was the last concert tour before Natalie left the band. But the 10,000 Maniacs are still together. They just have a different singer. And Natalie Merchant, I believe, is still doing things. I haven't seen a lot from her recently.
She is.
Yeah. But this song is definitely a spring song. It mentions my birthday month in it.
There you go.
These are the days you'll remember when May is rushing over you with desire to be part of the miracles you see in every hour. You'll know it's true that you are blessed and lucky. And I'm blessed and lucky to just do this and have people listen to me talk about rock and roll, which is, I find kind of strange, but hey, I love it.
I love listening.
Yeah, so I'm blessed and lucky just to do
Yeah.
it.
Well
So
done.
those are my songs, my spring songs. There are 10 of them, from Simon and Garfunkel to the 10,000 Maniacs. And just a reminder, by the way, here's a little cartoon version of the Allman Betts band that I thought went along with spring, so I put it on this. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, I love that picture.
Yeah, from
the video.
From the Magnolia Road video. But I think it goes along with spring, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Which of the songs on my list do you like? Do you really like?
All of them.
Are there other spring songs that you can think of? I said Good Day Sunshine, which I didn't put on this list. What other spring songs can you think of that? Maybe you nail to another list of spring songs.
Strawberry Fields.
Strawberry Fields Forever. And, by the way, the band's coming up in a few minutes, few seconds. Until next time, you know what to do. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Rockin' in the tree. Woo!